I say we start this thing. Let's bring in our first guest, shall we? Shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, Alaina Huffman! I didn't realize you were going to jump in those heels. I can't jump in my heels, so that caught me off guard. By the way,
you don't jump in your heels?
Well, it's TMI.
That's so very rich.
How fired up are we to have Alaina Huffman start this weekend off?
Look at all these Thursday people.
Thursday
people also love Dick.
Hey, show Alaina what you did. Dick loves Thursday people.
People love Dick! And Dick loves Thursday people.
Damn right I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm turning the stage over to this woman, Alaina Huffman. Robot Mike happy. Robot Mike have feelings.
Are you done? I love those guys. Don't you love them? It's like my brother squad. How are you guys? Las Vegas? What happens in Vegas? I'm planning to have lots of fun here. What's going on? Nothing? It is Thursday. I brought my best friend with me because when you come to Vegas for work, you should bring your best friend with you. Usually I take my kids. Not here. Yeah. So you already have questions? Okay. I usually start this and talk a little bit about myself. Maybe I'll just give you a little intro in case you haven't met me before. I'm Alaina. I play a little character called Abaddon. I liked her, she was fun. And this is not really new to me. I've done a lot of genre stuff. I played a character called the Black Canary. Smallville, a little show called Smallville. And I was on a show called Stargate. That was lots of fun. Yeah, and I love doing these things. I love being here. So I'm born in Canada, Vancouver. Yeah, the birthplace of Supernatural. And every other show in the world. That's where television is now. It's in Vancouver, or Toronto. And I live in LA. I have 4 children. That's my real job. I do a lot of laundry. Short order cooking. Dr. Mommy, I kiss boo-boos. Yeah, when I'm not fighting bad guys or being a bad guy. Should we open it up? Let's do it. Let's go right. What's up?
Hello. My question was just the differences in playing Josie versus playing Abaddon, and if they were ever to do a Meta Letter spin-off, what you would like to see happen with Josie's character before everything went wrong.
I love that. It was fun to play a character that had 2 different characters to her, and I really love the Josie character. And in fact, the episode Mother's Little Helper that Misha directed. I loved that they gave her a backstory and that you had an understanding of who Josie was and that she was sort of this, woman in a man's world and she was really trying to sort of break the glass ceiling. And so I loved it because Abaddon, even though I loved the character, she was very one-dimensional and just to be the bad guy is really fun, but there's no layers. And so to find those layers, I found them in Josie. I think she was a very important part of bringing the Men of Letters, information and aspect to the show. And if there was a spin-off or if they decided to bring me back in any capacity, I think that's the more interesting character. She has all of that knowledge. I think she has all the passion behind it, and I think it's a more sustainable character. So yeah, if they did it, you can hire me. I'll dye my hair or whatever. It's good. And then there was that beautiful love story between her and
Henry.
Thank you, Gil, my buddy. Yeah, and I actually think then she could work with the guys and give them that knowledge, right?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Just saying. It's a show out there for me. Put a few guys around me, it'll be good. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, gorgeous. My question for you is, there seemed to be like a lot of history between Cain and Abaddon. I was just wondering, do you wish that your version of Abaddon could have had a few scenes with Timothy Almonson's Cain, and what would that have looked like?
Yes, because I loved him. I don't normally have hair envy. I got a hair envy. I'm like, damn, why's your hair look so good all the time? Yeah, that's the only reason I want to work with him. That little man bun he does. Top knot. Is it not a man bun? Is that offensive? No, okay. It's just another term. Got it. Got it. Male hair dictionary. What would happen? I think it would be good, whatever it is. What do you guys think? What would happen? What do you think?
It'd be hot.
That is a good, yes,
Right?
it would be hot.
At least we always know in this show, whatever it is, it's hot. It's like, it didn't work, but damn, it's sexy. Right? They do it good on that show. Like, let's make this shit sexy. So what do you think would happen?
No, I was just agreeing with the audience. It would be hot. I think it would be kind of sexy, and I think we would get a little bit more of a background between, a little bit more about their history, like what exactly happened between them and kind of why they had a falling out.
Right. Yeah. Love it. Add that to the spin-off. Let's make another spin-off. Let us be on 2 shows. It's fine. I'm fine. I like that. Thank you. Hey.
You talk about hair envy, I'm having leg envy right now.
My legs kind of hurt. I want to sit down. Okay.
Here, I feel better.
Okay. Those rock star jumps really do you in.
So a lot of celebrities, they're very, very reluctant to share much about their private lives on social media. And one of the things I love most is when you post pictures of you and your kids, and they're so freaking adorable. But did you ever feel any awkwardness when you first started about like how much you wanted to share with the general public?
No. I think in general, I don't think you want to overshare with anybody ever. Anyways, I think that, they're an important part of my life, and there's aspects of my family that I do share, and there's a lot that I don't share. It's funny because every time I take a picture of my kids, they're like, are you going to post it? No, I'm not. Hey guys, we're talking. Yeah, we hear the feedback. So, there's aspects of it that I share, and there's aspects that I don't. In fact, I think I had at one point on my Twitter, it was like actress, mother, blah, 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 and my manager was like, maybe take that off. And I was like, what? So I think there's a consciousness in the industry to sort of maybe separate I don't know, it's so much my life. I didn't start my career until I had my kids. And so it was sort of, I grew my family at the same time as I grew my career, so I don't really know one without the other. And it's funny, a lot of my friends are like, I don't know how you do it, how you have a career and all those kids, and I'm like, I don't know how you don't. It's just kind of what I know, and I sort of have always just made it work, and it's not always easy. But I feel really blessed, I feel really fortunate. My kids have been all over the world at these things, they love them. They think they just get to come and like have free food. That's what they think about work. They're like, we're gonna come visit you at work today? We get lots of donuts, right? I'm like, yeah, and I have to work. But okay. I don't know, it's just part of my life, yeah. So, thanks. Hi.
Hello. I love just Abigail. My question is about Stargate. I'd like to hear about a funny or memorable moment that you had while you were working with the cast.
Oh my gosh. Supernatural aside, Stargate was one of the best experiences of my life. Yeah, it really was. It's such a beautiful thing to walk onto a set and to feel like you're got. Like, I feel really blessed. I felt that in a lot of my work environments. Smallville was another big, beautiful family that you kind of just walked onto, and I came to Smallville in season 7, and so they had really established the crew and the cast and grown together. Stargate, even though it was a new show, the crew had been together for 15 years, or 12 years, 15 seasons. And a lot of them came from other shows that all together as a crew. So you literally walk into this big, beautiful family and you kind of just feel like you can't fail. However, we weren't as welcomed by the fans, the Stargate Universe franchise. So like I remember going to work and people were protesting outside the studio and they're like, we hate you, go home. And I was like, I just want to feed my family. Just like you. Okay. And then they warmed up after the show was canceled, but that's a whole other thing. It's really fun. But the cast, we still get along. I mean, I talked to Louis, who played Colonel Young. He's Papa Smurf. I talk to him all the time. He's like one of my best buddies. We're all really close. Ming Na is a really, really beautiful friend of mine, and I talk with her all the time. She's on that little tiny show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. So happy when my friends are working and happy. So I do have a funny memory though. The first 3 episodes was the pilot. We shot them as a pilot, but they were 3 separate episodes. It took almost a month to film that sequence of AR 1, 2, and 3. And if you remember, Colonel Young gets like thrown through the gate, and then he's knocked out unconscious, and my character is the medic who doesn't think she can do anything. She drove me nuts. I was always like, can this chick like get it together? I called her crybaby because she was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, oh my god, she's so annoying. But I learned a lot from her in the end, which was a really good moment for me. So the whole first 3 episodes, I was literally sitting over him while he was unconscious. And I didn't really have much else to do in the pilot, and Louis was unconscious the whole time. And of course we're all getting to know each other, and Louis is a big kid. And so he had a fart machine. I'm not kidding, we were 5 years old for a month. It was so funny. We'd just be sitting there talking and he'd press the fart machine. And just to see people's reactions, some people would be like nothing happened. Other people would be like, you're nasty. Oh my god, we laughed. We laughed for a month. It was so fun. And then he actually would fart. And if you're in a bed scene or something, he'd totally Dutch oven you. It's so fun when you work with guys. I didn't have brothers growing up, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a whole aspect of dudes that I have no idea. Thank God. It was an education. Yeah. Thank you. It was fun. That was a good memory I just relived. Thanks for that. Hi.
Hi. So you mentioned all these genre shows you're on. If you could pick one genre show, what would it be, present or past?
I always say that's like picking my favorite kid. It depends on the day. Depends on who slept really well last night. I really, really, truly loved Abaddon. I felt like she was such a gift to me. Not just in the moment. I actually thought, the first episode, okay, this is how I got the job. So forgive me if you've heard this story, because I've told it before, but basically, you get your auditions, this is the funny thing about being an actor. You just kind of get your audition 85 other auditions you've done, and it's just 85 other auditions until you get the job and it changes his life. And you're like, oh, that was a really important email. I didn't know it at the time. So I got the email for this, and my first reaction, I was like, Supernatural? That show's still on? Okay. So not because I thought it was on a long time, but because if I'm demographically right for a show, I should have read for it like for 5 seasons. I was pregnant most of that time, so that happens. So when I got that, that shocked me. And then my audition scene, I remember so clearly. It was 3 pages. And I was talking to my mom on the phone, and I'm kind of looking over it, and it was like for a couple hours later, like 10 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning rather. And I'm reading it, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So if you remember the first episode I come on, I get stabbed in the back, I get shot in the face, and then I get my head chopped off. That was my audition scene. Those are 3 different scenes, they condensed them into one. And I was like, this is so stupid. How am I gonna do this? Like, you're not in the scene and with bloody stuff and whatever, and like with other actors. You're in a tiny room, there's 3 producers sitting on a couch, and you're like, don't cut my head off, or whatever. It's really that ridiculous. But I went and I did it, and I got the job, and I was like, okay, this is the job. I'm the monster of the week, and I die. And then they brought me back. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then when they brought me, then I was like, oh, I'm dead because they burned me. And Mark was like, oh no, they've burned all of us. I was like, oh, really? So then they called me back for the next season. And then I think they killed me a couple more times. Definitely one more time. There's a lot of killing. But it was fun. One of my favorite like still shots of the show is my head lying on the floor in a pool of blood. And my daughter Charlie, she's 6 now, but she was 5 at the time, or 3 at the time. She's like, Mama, you're so beautiful. What happened to your head? I was like, you must be so confused. Thank God I have good insurance. Poor baby. Yeah. I don't know. What was your question? Okay. I love Abaddon. I love all my characters, though. I love the Black Canary. Do you guys like the Black Canary? Let me tell you about how I got that job. So, same thing. I went in for Smallville, and I'd never read for it before season 7, which is odd, you know? And so I went in there for this character, but it was written as a different character because it was a secret. I didn't know it was a secret. And I have this scene with Lois Lane, Erica's character. And so I'm in the audition, and then they call me, and they're like, you have the job, but it's a top secret character, and they're not going to tell you who it is. And I was like, well, how do I prepare for the job? And same thing, I thought it was 1 episode. And so they called me back a few hours later, they're like, okay, but it's top secret. If it gets out, like, you're in it. I'm like, okay, so you said it's the Black Canary, and I didn't know who the Black Canary was. So I Googled her, and my first thing was like, I have to wear that? Like the old 60s, well, actually, it's kind of like this. I got very comfortable in it, with the heels and everything. Yeah, but it's like a bustier thing, and I was like, I've had 2 kids. At the time, I had 2 kids. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to fight in that thing. I fought in that thing. And my favorite thing is to be like, we have to take that again, guys. My heel got caught in my fishnets. That happened. But she's a cool character, and you know, she was, I think, really unknown. I mean, she was known in the genre, in the comic book world, but in the pop culture world, I don't think she was as popular as she is now, thanks to the little bit that they portrayed her on Smallville. And now, of course, with Arrow, she's this big, beautiful character, and Katie Cassidy kills it, right? Yeah, and she's, to me, a really important character just as a woman. Like, she's strong, she's smart, she's confident. She's got this, like, lovesick thing with the Green Arrow, and you're like, girl, get over him. But then you kind of understand it, and you're like, well, it's him. Right? She's just a woman. I love her. Yeah. To the left.
Hello, love.
Hi.
I actually am wondering, since you portray a lot of strong women, specifically for Abaddon, is there any women in history that you took inspiration from, like Elizabeth Bathory or maybe Ellie Mornos? Something like that?
I love that. I didn't take any inspiration for her. Adam Glass wrote my character for the most part of the show, and he was really great at communicating what he wanted the character to portray. And so I had a great communication with him ongoing, and I didn't feel like I needed to look elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, strong women throughout history, whether they're, you know, leaders or spiritual, you know, you take like a Mother Teresa or Margaret Thatcher or Bertha von Schuster, who the first Nobel Peace Prize went to. And there's these beautiful women in history that I think we can celebrate, and we just had International Women's Day. I like that. Yeah, so I like strong women.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello. Out of all of the women characters or characters in general that you've portrayed, what is the most fun or the best makeup and costume design that you've gotten to wear?
Stargate was definitely the most comfortable. I was like, ooh, I don't even have to suck in. Except for I was pregnant on that show, and that wasn't fake, that was my real pregnancy. That's the best way to start a job, by the way. Like, I got pregnant during the pilot, and I had to call the producers into my room, and I was like, so I was not feeling well this weekend. And Rob, one of the producers, had this big smile on his face. He's like, well, congratulations. And so they wrote it in. So that costume was really comfortable. I didn't do a lot of stunts. They were so respectful of the fact that I was pregnant. Black Canary was really fun. I love Justin Hartley. You guys know Justin Hartley? So I got to work mostly on that show with Justin, and he's a friend of mine, and he's hilarious. He hated the Green Arrow costume. You know, it had a hood on his costume. So whenever he was in that costume, he couldn't hear. He was so grouchy. He'd be like, what? I was like, listen, old man. Yeah, and we always used to joke. He's like, why don't you meet me at the hotel later in the hotel bar in your costume, and I'll be in my costume, and then you walk in, I'm gonna be like, you are ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I miss Justin. He's so fun. That was definitely not a comfortable costume. Like, you have to remember, when you work with 200 crew members, 90% of them are men, and they're all wonderful and respectful, and you work with them, but they're still dudes, and you're walking around with your butt hanging out, and you're just like, just like a donut. So that's weird. So you put your big jacket on, and then Abaddon was super comfortable. They're really practical on that show. Like, do you ever notice they always wear their jackets? Yeah. Like, even in summer. Like, guys, isn't it hot? It's really good in winter, but in summer, it gets a little hot. But I did like that costume. And she's a good cosplay, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what was the question? It's Vegas. What's wrong with me? What characters did I like dressing as?
Like the most fun.
Yeah, all of them. They're all fun. I get to go to work and play with my friends and dress up. It's the best. Like, sometimes they leave you in your trailer too long. Like, one time, I think, for Supernatural, they called me in really early, like too early, and I think I was in my trailer literally like 6 hours, and Jensen comes up to me and he was like, I am so sorry. I was like, for what? He was like, I mean, you've been in your trailer all day. I was like, I had a nap. I read a book. I talked to my mom. This is the best day of work ever. I didn't change a diaper. I didn't have to make snacks. So good. I do this every day. Hi.
Hi. I really loved you both as Black Canary and as Abaddon, and I was wondering if you could kind of compare the two of them, because they both had powers and things they used like that, and they both like leather. And
as all good girls do. I don't know if they're comparable. I think that, you know, again, I feel like the Black Canary is, maybe because she's been around a long time, she's been written so many different ways by so many different, and drawn by so many different artists and written by so many different authors. I feel like she's a really solid character. Like, she is a woman. She's strong, she's focused, she has purpose, she's vulnerable, she's weak, she's emotional. Like, she's such a great character. And like I said, I'm so glad that we're getting to know her in pop culture now, because I think she's powerful. She's not just like pretty, she's awesome, right? I love her. And she screams. It's funny, because I used to sort of be embarrassed about that. People are like, what's your superpower? I was like, I scream. But it hurts you a lot. It's supersonic. Yeah. She also kicks your ass. Just saying. And she rides motorcycles. I mean, come on. And likes leather. I wish Abaddon had a motorcycle. Right? Can someone fanfic that and send it to me? A Harley? Yeah. I don't think they're comparable, but I think they're both awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, you mentioned working while you're pregnant, and I was curious, in general, women in the industry, they occasionally do get pregnant, they're on a show.
Yeah.
And, yeah, how does that generally work? Like, you're on a show.
How do you get pregnant? I did figure it out, by the way. It took me 4 children, but I figured it out.
Like, you have a contract and your character cannot get pregnant, or for whatever reason, you know, how do they generally?
Yeah, well, they used to see it unfavorably, and they used to fire you, and I think it was one of the Charlie's Angels sued Spelling Television because she got fired because she was pregnant, and since then, nobody will touch it. They're like, you're pregnant? Great, we're gonna write it in. You're not gonna sue us, and we're not gonna lose everything. We'll just make you walk behind boxes. I did that for a few episodes. We shot the episodes sort of out of sequence, so that if you go back and watch the show, like there's a lot of times where I'm framed out, like here, talking to someone. I was like, yeah, that episode shot after that, and my belly was big. They actually, I think almost all the women were pregnant at one point on Stargate. And so they were very used to dealing with that, and they did have a little backlash, if I'm not mistaken. So they were very careful to be they were very gracious to me. I'm so grateful for that experience. Thankfully, I have really good pregnancies, and you know, at first I was a little embarrassed, honestly. I was a little like, ooh, what's gonna happen? And then I sort of was like, I'm a full-grown woman who's married. I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
And the timing worked out really good. I mean, I had a baby in our hiatus. It was like I couldn't have planned it any better. I think we wrapped in, like right before Halloween. I had the baby in December, and we didn't come back till March. So, and then they wrote in the baby, and this was beautiful. I'm very grateful for this. So at the end of the season, if you remember, I get shot. And I came on set, and wardrobe had set me up with like blood all over my belly. And Andy Makita was directing that episode, and he goes, no, take her back there and less blood. He was really emotional about it, and so they made it less obvious. And I said to Brad and Rob at the end of the first season, I was like, what's gonna happen? And he said, we'll talk about fictional babies when healthy babies are born. Yeah, it was, I felt really, really good about it. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I couldn't have had a better experience. Yeah. And like I said, I figured out, there's no more questions. Yeah, so it's, you know, I do get that question a lot, and I do have a lot of friends who are like, I can't believe, you know, you're able to have a career in your family, and like I said before, it's not always easy, but I don't think it's easy for anyone, and I feel really lucky and fortunate that I've had the experience of raising a family and growing my career, and to me, my personal life is a beautiful escape from my work, and my work is a beautiful escape from my personal life, and so, you know, very rarely they intertwine like these events. It's really me, and but I feel really balanced, integrated, healthy. Yeah.
I was wondering what it was like when you filmed your big fight scene at the end with the jets and it cuts off your head. How much of that was acting and putting in the special effects, what that was like?
Which time he killed me? He had it out for me, that one. The very last one. So that was a really long day. It was a Monday, we shut it on a Monday, and usually how filming works is you start on the Monday really early, like a 6 a.m. crew call, which means actors are in like an hour and a half early for makeup and hair and everything, especially girls. So I got picked up at 4:30 in the morning that Monday, and I made a terrible mistake the night before of having a coffee with my dad and walking around the seawall. I didn't sleep very well. But anyway, so I got picked up really early and we shot Jensen's side first. It did take all day just to shoot that scene. And they had him on the wires and he had to be pulled back. And so we shot all that, and then I think it was after lunch they got to me, and you have to put your costume on, your gear to go on the wires. And when this happens, it looks really great on camera, but it's so not organic to acting. It's very sort of cumbersome, and it's a part of what we do. But if you think about it, so he comes at me with the knife, and then I'm hoisted up. So when the director calls action, then the stunt coordinator takes over and he directs 4 guys to then lift me up. But it's like this sort of telephone communication. So you hear people whispering. Meanwhile, you're on camera and you're in the moment. And so they lift me up, and at this point, it was on Jensen's coverage, but I'm aware that there's wires in his face. So I'm like holding the wires out so they can get a good shot of him. We probably did like 2 or 3 takes of that. And Rosie, the camera guy who was right behind me, he was like, "Hey, that hurts, right?" And I was like, "What?" He was like he stabs you, that hurts. And I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot to act." And I was so conscious of all of the stuff going on, I didn't act. I was like, "Oh yeah, I should scream or something." So the next take I screamed, and I think it worked. So embarrassing. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so unprofessional." So then Jensen later was like, "Can we just try something?" He's like, "We got all that, that's good." Especially if you remember the way they shot it was the wide through the bedroom doorway. So that it shows me like floating in the air on his knife, like, and it worked for that. But then for the up close stuff, he was like, "Let's just try, let's just take you off the wires. Just squat on an apple box," and that's what we did. And sometimes, simple is better. So that's happened a lot, actually, where you try and sort of overthink things and everybody gets involved, and it all is for the greater good, but sometimes it's a little better to keep it simple. Yeah, thanks. But it was fun. It was a fun shoot. No, back over here.
This is your favorite side,
Right? The right side? Or the left side?
So my question is still in that kind of hotel scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the gag reel. In the gag reel, the gun going off.
Oh yeah. I scared the shit out of Mark. Wasn't that the best? It was so funny. Yeah. You wanted to know about that?
Yeah, just tell us about that one.
Okay, so it's an old Colt. It's heavy. I don't know if y'all shoot, but it's heavy. I've done a lot of shooting. And the director is very stylized, PJ. He's like, "Wouldn't it be great? Like, you're so like stealthy and cool." He's like, "You just kind of pick it up with your left hand and shoot it from your hip." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, got it." And then I was like, "Oh, I can't, I'm not left-handed." so I said to the weapons guy, I was like, "Just cock it." And he's like, "It's gonna be a hairpin." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I got it, I'm fine." The first take, it worked. He reset it, he put it in the drawer, and I reached without looking, and I pulled the trigger, and I went, and Mark was like, It was so good. I'm so glad he was on camera for that. That was hilarious. And then my first thought was like, "Oh my God, I hope you guys have insurance, because I just totally destroyed that drawer." I mean, there's no real bullet, but it's, gunpowder, and it made a mark, and I think Mark was like, "She's trying to kill me, she's trying to kill me, get rid of her." I was like, if I was trying to kill you, I would use my hands. Believe me. Another funny Mark story. So you remember the scene, one of the other times I died, where they burned me, whatever happened. It was the last episode of one season. Anyway, and I'm like punching him in the chair, and so he's like chained to the chair, and one of the other camera guys, Brad, was walking around with a deli counter to all the crew to take turns punching Mark in the face. It was really fun. I loved it. And I mean, I say it jokingly because I love Mark, but he's so good. He's so in the moment, and he loved it. He was like, I'm going to tip over. I'm going to tip over. And they're like, no, you don't have to. He's like, no, I'm going to. I'm going to. It's going to look great. They're like, no, we're not going to see it. He's like, it's going to be good. And I think they ended up using it, but they didn't like they wanted to protect him. He was like, no, I'm all the way in. So, it was fun. It's always fun to beat the shit out of Mark. I think they should bring me back just for that purpose. Right?
Thank you, and I just want to say the gag reels are the best, so I'm just glad you're in there. Though.
I'm so glad I made it. It was funny. Because they don't prank me. Everyone asks me if they prank me. I dare them. I know I'm asking for it. I'm going to get it one day. It's going to probably be really embarrassing. But anyways, I'm glad I made the gag reel. Hi.
Hi. I actually watched that gag reel episode very, very late at night one time. I had my headphones in, and when the gun went off, I freaked. It was very sad. So I can imagine how it was for you. My question was, our fandom is quite well known for very, very interesting photo ops with our actors.
Yeah.
I was wondering what's the strangest pose or costume or pose that you've done with a fan before?
I do a lot of Charlie's Angels. You don't like Charlie's Angels? I haven't had too many weird requests. I've had more interesting experiences, like in a photo op one time, this woman, I was in Wales, she came up to me, and as she's walking to me, you know, you kind of have to approach, hey guys, she was like, I hope I don't get you sick. Me too. And this other time, and I don't know if Mark told you this, but Mark and I were posing for a photo with this woman, and she was like shaking, and he was like, it's all right, and she's like, I'm just trying not to shit myself. She did it. She made out well, at least not that I am aware of. I did not wash her clothes that night. I haven't had too many odd, nobody's asked me to wear tutus. I think you have to be like Jared and Jensen for that. Do you wear tutus? This thing's on?
If you asked me to, I would. Let me tell you something. I find it weird that you haven't had odd requests for photos because I feel like...
Only from Rich.
That's Daddy's business. Speaking of odd photos, I'm very excited for our very first ever, the very first time I'm ever going to get a chance to fake hang all over Alaina. Because we're doing photos for karaoke.
Yeah.
So we lost a couple of the dudes, and I'm like, that's great. It's a sausage fest anyway. There's already too much pepperoni on this pizza. Let's get some of the ladies in.
Let's get some pepperoni. What is it?
So flowers. Brianna and Kim and me. Quite frankly, I don't give a ball if anybody signs up for the photo or not. I bought them all out. I ponied up for about 60 or 70 of these things. And I know that the band will be in line, being all creepy. So
on our side.
But I feel like, don't you feel like that you would get, I mean, not just, maybe not creation, but you do a lot of cons for other shows. Because you've been in the genre world for a while. You must get some creepy dudes who ask you to, like, propose to me, or something.
No.
They're scared of you, that's why.
Sometimes I like, can I have a kiss or something?
Sure.
Yeah.
I hope you must.
No, not that weird. Y'all aren't that weird.
That's
sorry.
You're not that weird, although I did have, and the young lady knows who she is, I did have a young lady dress as a, is it a unicorn or a lamb, and get on all fours and have me mount her.
Was that from your episode? From Jenny's episode?
No, it wasn't. You would think. I think she may have been maybe not a unicorn, maybe a sheep. I don't know what the hell. I know she's a very nice girl. She had a lot of cons. She was all dressed up.
She was a unicorn.
Unicorn.
Are you here?
And it wasn't from... Are you here?
You're the best! I'm so doing that to Rich tomorrow night.
Come here.
Giddy up.
No, you really? Come here. Are you playing? upstairs. I tell this story a lot. He's literally giving you galloping music. Thank you. Okay, remind me your name. Alexis. I'm Richard, that's Alaina. That's the band. Because people ask me, they'll always ask me that question, what's the oddest photo you've had? I said, it's always, now I'll say Alexis.
Were you a unicorn or a sheep?
I was a unicorn.
Okay.
Why? Because now, you had a legitimate question, was it about my episode? It was not.
No.
So what inspired the unicorn?
It was on the show before.
The farting unicorns?
Yeah, and it was my rainbow, my belt, my rainbow was going on my butt.
Like you do.
And Matt, he got on top.
Like he does.
And he face bombed.
They did that. So I didn't have to write you, Matt wrote you?
Yeah.
I feel better about this. You know what? In my dreams, I role-played I was Matt. That's so weird.
This is so much about you.
As I've retold the story 100 times, I've become
You even
Matt.
believe yourself.
I remember I was shirtless, I was ripped, and I was riding the unicorn. And there was a portly Matt Cohen standing nearby.
For you, just my imagination.
Oh, really?
Another unicorn?
No, I'm not the unicorn. Someone else will be the unicorn.
Are you
What are
Sully?
you dressed as?
What's his name, Sully?
I'm the mermaid.
The mermaid.
Yes.
That was so good.
That's awesome.
Is that the one who was all over her face?
No, that was Sparkle. The unicorn.
With sparkles on her face.
It reminded you of your dance club days. Thank you for coming up here. Alexis right there. Okay, so
I want to see that photo op. Can you show it to me?
me, right? And so the other. Look, thank you for coming to my Q&A. No, but another photo thing that I thought was really funny about a photo op is that some young lady came to me and she said, "Would you be okay?" You know, some people bring like a drawing or something of the pose they brought a photo. Would you be okay?
It's a Karma Sutra book.
My thighs don't do that. Would you be okay doing this? And I looked at the picture and I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to, I have family, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna draw a line and say no. But the funny part wasn't that she showed me a picture and asked me to do it. It was a picture of her in a photo already doing it with Misha. So this is what I thought was a pose too far.
And Misha did
With
it.
Misha doing it, going like, and I'm like, well, God bless him, but talk about a random act. I'm gonna pass. Thank you.
Were you going to play the Misha role?
Yeah, I was gonna do the Misha part, and I felt like he did it so well that I would never.
You couldn't top it. That he doesn't have the same moral code as you.
No, isn't that weird? You have another question, so I interrupted. So go take your question.
What? Yeah. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, you shot a few scenes where you were like dismembered, head was chopped off, had a hand missing. Was that weird or was it fun when you like dug the bullet out of your own skull?
Yeah, it was awesome. I like the like one of my favorite lines. I loved how like campy she was, and the lines when you read them on paper, they're kind of dumb. You're like, I'm gonna stump you to death. It's hilarious. It's like, I'm gonna stump you to death. It's so fun. Which had nothing to do with my hands and the fact that they weren't on my body. And then the hand was actually a hand model. And then when it got to my shoulder, I took over because the director was like, I don't think you want some random chick's hand in your mouth. I was like, but you don't know.
Yeah, whoa.
Wow.
Hold on, you haven't seen
You don't speak for me.
You haven't seen the photo ops I do. Damn right I want that in my mouth. Oh no, I think I'm hiding.
Yeah.
How dare they tell you what you're into?
Yeah. Gosh. Thank you. Do we have one more?
Yeah.
Hi.
So,
It's a dude!
Is there a dude song?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. There's a dude over there, he's asking the question. We're all thrown off because it's weird. We're not used to fellas showing up. It's usually a bunch of chicks. We like it that way. But it's only at the convention. The dude that walks you out of here and let's go to the
So I'm going to.
That's what it's like to be serenaded by Reg.
That's fantastic. I'm going to Disney in July to actually do some auditions for possibly a High School Musical 4. But I was just wondering, like, what kind of tips you maybe have.
Honestly, and it sounds like a cliche answer, but it's the truth, and the longer I'm in the business and the more experience I have, the truer it becomes. Have fun. I mean, it's what we do. It's such a blessing to do what we do and to love the work, and I think you truly only love it when you enjoy it. So if it becomes all heady and like, they're gonna hire you whether they hire you, and I think you just go in there and have fun. Yeah, so, Greg, like, do you dance and sing and...
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Wait a minute.
Have fun.
Here we go. He's gonna dance, he's gonna dance right now. He's ready to be on online. Everybody help him dancing. He's on Disney right now. He's dirty when he dances. He's a no short.
Did you get this? Not yet. They're working on it. No, you're fine. You get it?
Boom! He gave us a move. I like that. Good luck.
Yeah, break
Good luck,
leg.
buddy.
Break leg.
This is the part of the job that I hate. Oh, we tickled ourselves, everybody. That's okay, because no one would tickle us for us. Listen, this is Thursday, and this is just starting, and this is how we start, and this is how we keep it going, and this is what we like. And you know what we like? We like ourselves some Thursday people, and we like ourselves some Alaina Huffman.